Hey everybody, we are doing a simulation today. I'm sorry I can't be here. You get to make a lot of choices and we're going to see what happens. The year is October 1929, early October. Stock market crash has not happened, okay? Right now you're sitting pretty. You've got money, you've got wealth. You just got married and had a baby girl. How special is that? You can put your spouse's name and your baby girl's name if you know what it's going to be, okay? There's your baby girl. Here's your home. Looks to me like you're doing pretty well. This is a nice house. You want to make sure your family has the best things in life and that their future is guaranteed, guaranteed, to be prosperous. You feel so confident in America's financial security, you decide, hey, I'm going to take a lot of my savings and put it in the stock market. After all, everybody's saying the stock market's only going up. This is a great way to make sure I take care of my family. You have the best intentions. Even the experts are saying, buy stocks. This is how you get rich. You're like, okay, they know what they're talking about. So you decide you're going to invest. But who? You're going to choose one stock to invest your entire life savings in. You're going to write the number associated with your stock on your log. And this is your log. Okay, this is on you've got this on paper, okay? So this is like the little blanks you're going to put stuff. So in this first blank, you're going to put 1 if you want to invest in the telephone company, 2 for radio, 3 for oil, 4 for Gotham Bank, you got to love that, Gotham Bank, 5 Ford Motor Company, or 6 Kansas and Pacific Railroads. So we're going to pause for a second. Y'all figure out which one you want, and then we're going to go. And we're back. All right. So, October 24th, Wall Street panics as stocks crash. Oh no! You just bought all those stocks and the stock market is crashing. What are you going to do? Here's some pictures from the great crash. Everybody out trying to get their money back, like the simulation we did yesterday. A lack of new investors in the stock market and massive selling all at once. Everybody went, you know what? I think I want to get out of the stock market and just take this cash. So the stocks fell drastically on Black Tuesday, it's called, resulting in a $10 to $15 billion loss in value. That's back then. Think what that would be worth today. While this did not cause the Great Depression, it did undermine the economy's ability to hold out against other weaknesses and left it susceptible to the Great Depression. So it wasn't just the stock market, because not every single American invested in the stock market. It was a key factor, but it was going to happen with or without the stock market crash. It just exacerbated it, okay? So here's what happened. Right before the market crashed, we're almost to 400 billion, or about 380 something. It crashes here on Black Tuesday. Oh, why does it do that? Sorry. And then it keeps going. Look at for 3 years, it just keeps crashing. So if you left your money in, yikes, okay? And nobody's investing right now. It makes some more dips and starts to tiny bit recover, but now we're into the Great Depression. People don't have any money for food. How are they going to buy stocks, right? The stock market crash signaled the beginning of the Great Depression. It's generally defined as happening, the Great Depression is 12 years, 1929 to 1941. Who remembers what happened in December of 1941? Yeah, Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. We went to war. Nothing helps an economy like going to war, sadly. But it does, because all of a sudden we have to manufacture all this stuff. We got to make bombs and tanks and planes and ships and all this stuff and pay soldiers. And the government pays for it. Your taxes, but they pay for it. So it does get the economy going, but we'll get into that later. All right? And people were happy to have jobs, by the way, even if it meant going to war. Not kidding. That's how bad it was. On your travel log, note what happened to your stock. So let's go back over here and look. All right? Oh, I went too fast. Sorry, guys. Here's what happened. If you bought the telephone company, it lost 50% of its value, so you lost half your money, okay? Radio, you got lucky, because everybody still had their radios through the Depression. The stock remained the same, so you pull your money out and put it in the bank for safekeeping, okay? If you did Mammoth Oil, your stock is worthless. You now owe money, because remember on our simulation, you bought on margin. You borrowed money to buy stocks. And that has become worthless. So now you owe money. Number 4, Gotham Bank, because there was that run on the bank. Remember we talked about that? We did the simulation. Your net worth just went down by 90%. So if you were worth 100,000, you're now worth 10,000. Okay? Ford Motor Company, it lost 50%. You just lost half your savings just that fast. And Kansas Railroad and Pacific Railroad, this declined again by 90%. Yeah, if you're smart enough to do radio, good for you. Okay? So, now you're going to go right down in your travel log what happened to your stock. So we're going to pause for a sec. And we're back. Okay, you are now in despair as you and your family, that precious baby girl, are barely hanging on. With most of your savings depleted, you cannot afford for anything more to go wrong as you look to President Herbert Hoover to fix things. Okay? Don't get your hopes up. Just a little forecasting there. After the stock market crash, President Hoover tried to reassure Americans. He said any lack of confidence in the economic future is foolish. Don't be foolish. It's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. He recommended let's just do business as usual. The government's not going to get involved. It'll fix itself. It'll fix itself. That was his thinking. I believe in rugged individualism. It is the idea that people succeed through their own efforts. There is an element of truth there, but no one can succeed in a vacuum, totally on their own. Not even, what's his face, Bill Gates got where he is without help, without government regulations that helped him, without investors, without doing things. Yes, he took great risk and he worked real hard, rugged individualism, but there was still safety nets that protected him. There were still investors. So nobody gets great success in a vacuum. People should take care of themselves and not depend on governmental handouts. He said people should pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Okay. If you just lost everything you own, you have no house, no car, no food, and you have 3 children, you don't even have bootstraps to pull up. What are you going to do? This is true in good times, okay? You shouldn't rely on other people for your total support. But what happens if something as bad as what happened in 1929 happens? You have no money, no house, no food, no nothing, okay? You might need a little help. Hoover lost it here, okay? He was wrong here. The article says that Hoover doesn't believe it's the government's job to fix the economy or provide financial assistance. Well, thanks for nothing, Hoover. Banks are being raided. Get your money, run to the banks. We did this yesterday, right? All the runs on the banks, okay? You rush to your bank to pull out all of your money. Let's see what happens. All these people do not get their money. The first couple might, but the rest don't. We saw that yesterday, right? Okay, 600 banks failed. Another 11,000 of 25,000 failed, collapsed. All that money gone. When the bank collapsed, customers and businesses lose everything. People had worked their whole lives building their business, invested everything they had, blood, sweat, tears, gone. Overnight, gone. Talk about depressing. Whew. So choose one of these numbers and write them on your travel log. Hold on. Just pick one. Okay, I'm going to pause. And we're back. So you should put that number down. Now let's see what happens. Let's see. Here we go. If you picked 1, you pushed your way to the front of the teller, but you're only able to get $50. That's it out of your whole life savings. Number 2, you got nothing. The bank ran out of money before you could get anything. Number 3, you get to the bank first thing in the morning, but most of the money was drawn the day before. The most you can get is $65. You're actually quite lucky if you didn't wait if you waited till the next day. And number 4, the mob of people was too overwhelming. The bank ran out of money before you could withdraw anything. You've lost it all. Oh, so sad. Okay? So, downward momentum of the Great Depression. No work. Look at unemployment. Here it is, that's probably what, 2.5%, 3%? That's low unemployment. Look at 1933. Almost 1/4 of this nation could not find work. There was no unemployment back then, y'all. It wasn't like you could just get a check because you couldn't find a job. You didn't eat. Your family starved. There were tent cities popping up all over our country. And you were lucky if you got 1 meal a day. Truly lucky, okay? So you can see it's pretty high all through the 30s. Except for 37, it's over 15%. In my lifetime, it's never been that. Y'all know how old I am. It's never been anywhere near that. Okay? 25% in 1933, 14 million are jobless. 14 million people in 1933. I don't know what that is doing. Okay, so how are you going to make a living? Here you are, your baby girl, okay? So with the loss of our job, we need to find new ways to save and make money. Choose one, okay? Just random, choose, go. I'm going to pause. And we're back. Okay, if you chose number one, you take in tenants. You're going to rent out your house. You might get $1 a month, but that's more than you would have had, right? Number two, you put your child up for adoption. Y'all, some people did, and not because they didn't adore their child, but because their child was literally starving to death. And there were no government programs to protect anybody. And there's some wealthy people who adopt your child. It's the ultimate sacrifice as a parent. Trust me, ultimate. Number three, you make your clothing out of flour sacks. Do you know there's a story, I forget the name of the flour company, but there was a flour company that actually started making their flour sacks, instead of being ugly brown, they started printing them with pretty flowers and stuff so that women could have something nice to wear out of a flour sack. How sweet is that? What a great company. I love that. Number four, you sell all your furniture in hopes of getting a little money. Number five, you stand on the corner and beg, hope somebody will throw you a dime. A lot of people did. Number six, you sell apples. It's the best you can hope for, okay? So, on your travel log, note what your new way for your family resorted to make extra money. I'll pause. And we're back. Okay, your home. It's now in foreclosure. Your beautiful home that you love so much, gone, because you can't make the payments. Wasn't enough. Whatever you picked, it wasn't enough. With no home, you moved to Hooverville, named after Herbert Hoover, because he did nothing to help these people. So these horrible places where people were living in Washington, D.C., made out of tin, cardboard, they called it Hooverville because they're like, he's given us no help, and he's the president of the country. A Hooverville or shanty town, because they're little shanties, right? That's what you can imagine living in that. They were made from scrap. That's why I told you why they were called Hooverville. Okay? Hi, neighbor. Any food to spare? Y'all, this happened all the time. Children begging in the streets, people begging in the streets. Here's your beautiful baby girl wrapped in pearls. Here she is today in a box. And you have one diaper you have to keep washing and drying. It's just terrible. In addition to the term Hooverville, President Hoover's name was used mockingly in other ways during the Great Depression. When soles were worn out of shoes, the cardboard used to replace them was called Hoover leather. That's because, right, he did nothing to help. Imagine living like this, y'all, especially as a parent with children. Part of the reason you came to D.C. to set up your shanty is to show your support for the passage of the Putnam Bill. If Congress passes the Putnam Bill, it would be very beneficial for World War I veterans like yourself. Because, by the way, you were promised a check that never showed up when you came back from the war. That's another story entirely. Veterans bonus, they were promised this bonus they didn't get. So they're marching on D.C. wanting to get this bonus they were promised, right? Oops, sorry. So, 1932, 15,000 World War I vet arrive in Washington to support the passage of the bill. If the bill passes, you'll get $1,000. Y'all, that is a lot of money when you've got zero, okay? And immediately, instead of waiting until the scheduled date, it was supposed to be paid in 45. They're begging for it now because they're starving and their families are starving. On June 7th, the Senate voted down the Putnam Bill. I don't think these people quite understand, because if you're a senator, you're guaranteed a paycheck. They don't understand what's going on to people. Hoover called the bonus marchers communists. So out of touch with American people. So out of touch with reality, right? So it was rejected. Hoover told the bonus marchers to go home. 2,000 refused to leave. Soldiers were sent in under Douglas MacArthur. Remember that name? We're going to come to it in World War II. Infantry gassed more than 1,000, not the kind of gas used in World War I. Okay, this is like tear gas and stuff. But still, 2 vets were shot and scores injured. Americans are outraged with Hoover. No chance he's getting reelected, thank God. Okay? This is kind of to burn down some of the shanties. It was terrible, okay? Veterans, there's some more of them marching. Okay, so now you're going to pick. Which one am I going to do? Just pick random. Pause. And we're back. All right. Once you see what happened, there's what happened to your family. Number one, your baby died. That's the worst. I don't care what. That's the worst. Number two, you were hospitalized. 3, arrested for rioting. 4, you lose everything. It's burned down. 5, you're left crying before the troops came. And there you go. Now, I'm going to stop here. You should be able to do the rest of this on your own, okay? But I want you to try to put yourself in these people's place. It was a horrible time to live, right? Okay? So, finish this up. I will be looking at these. Look at the end. What happened to you based on the choices you made, right? And they're random, but yet it's something you would have had to pick, right? And we'll talk about this probably when I get back on Wednesday, okay? Please finish this. It is homework if you don't finish, okay? Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.